Then, yesterday, the opponent raised the question, it being the self, there may be the agent of knowing, Kartritva, doership may be there in the Brahman. Then the opponent says it is not consciousness because doership is there, it becomes impermanent and it is depending on something else, it is independent. It is not independent. That is the question raised. Then the answer was given. It is full of knowledge. The knowledge is not separate from it, and the doership is used in the secondary meaning. Yesterday was this gauna. I used the word subsidiary, it is not actual meaning. It is gauna means it is secondary meaning. It is not the first hand meaning or the mukhya, the real meaning. It is as if we can say, as if he has created, because it is our superimposition. That's why it is real. And those who are not having discrimination only superimpose all these attributes, and the root verb they consider as jna, to know. And it is not so because as sun is having light and fire is having heat, so the nature of Brahman is full of consciousness. And this consciousness is having the Swayam Prakasha, is by its nature, is the light itself. That's why it is not depending on anything else. But everything exists because of it. That's why, because that consciousness is everywhere and each and everybody is omniscient. Then he says, though he has created this world, he is not having, say, hands and legs or any sense organs. Yet, he has created all these things because by his presence everything is going on. And the change is in the illusion but not in Brahman. This you should understand. All the changes that we are seeing in this transitory world are due to illusion. And in Gita it says, Mama Maya Duratya Mameva ye prapadyante Maya metam tarantite. This illusion is very difficult to overcome. One who takes refuge in that consciousness, in that Brahman, or in his own Atma. So, you should give up the attachment which has been coming since ages and births. That attachment of the body and the mind and sense organs are to be given up. That is called Mameva ye prapadyante, one who takes refuge in that self. He can alone overcome this illusion. where from it enters, how it has come, why it has to come, there is no answer. Because we are already experiencing it. Suppose there is a house, say like this wooden house. So it was in fire. Then nobody is going to ask why the house is in fire. Just everybody tries to put off the fire. In the same way, since we have taken the birth, somehow or other this wonderful fellow, illusion or ignorance has entered. It is with us. It has been with us. We have been nourishing it. Now we wanted to overcome. So, to go beyond, you have to take refuge in the self. That's what Sri Krishna says. And it is omniscient and it is not having, say, it is because it is not having any categories or species. And there are no attributes. And it is not doing any action. See, jati, guna, karma. These three things are not there. But yet it is there. Because of which we are doing all the things. That's why when the opponent says it is the agent of knowing, he refutes because you see it is not an agent, it is knowledge itself. And the agentship is through illusion. Illusion is changing. And finally he says, by these attributes, Brahman is indicated, and at the same time it cannot be expressed by speech or words, because it is not having any species, no attributes, and there is no action. That's why you see in Gita there is a wonderful sloka. Karmanya karma yap pasyet akarmani cha karmya. See, in the midst of action, karmani, one should find inaction. How is that? Because even while doing so many actions, if you think that you are Atman, and if you eradicate the doership from your mind, then you are not doing any action. The moment you encourage the doership, you are getting all sorts of sin or bad. The moment you remove it, that's why in the 18th chapter, Yasya naham kuto bhavo buddhir yasya na lipyate hatva saimam loka nahanti na nibhajati says. One is not having the doership or enjoyership, then even if he kills all these words, he is not getting any synthesis. See, you are already that. But just a little deviation, that I am the body, I am having mind, I am samsara. This much of deviation you do. This is called ignorance. This is called Maya. This you have to overcome. That's why you have to do so many practices and austerities. A good aspirant always discriminates between the real and unreal things. The real is only Atman and the rest are unreal. Neha nanasti kinchit. So many things are not there in this world, only one thing is there. In this way, we have to cogitate, we have to meditate. Now, we'll proceed further. That's all right. Page 310, second paragraph, the Sanskrit. Previously told, it is away from speech, or speech returns from it along with the mind. That I have explained to you. The mind, which is carrying so many desires, which is attached to the body, mind and the world, it cannot experience the self. That's why he says, the speech along with the mind, without attaining it, it reverts back. And in other places, the same scripture says, Manasaivaana drashtavyam. What you are having, only mind. With this alone, you have to experience yourself. What is the instrument? That is the mind. Mind, what type of mind? A purified mind. Not having any desires of this world or the other worlds, say heaven or anything. Then we call it is purified. Then only it gets real concentration. Till that, it is making a drama of concentration and meditation, as if it is doing. Once when you get that concentration, you forget about your body, mind and this whole world. You are within yourself. So, drishyate tvagriya buddhya sukshmaya sukshmadarshibhi. First, you should be able to see the subtle things and subtler and more subtle things. That is subtler than the space. When your mind gets concentrated, then only you will be able to see. With concentrated mind, you can very easily experience it, that what it is. So the instrument which you are having is only the mind. That's why here if he says Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasaha, from which speech returns along with the mind, without attaining it, you need not worry. In other places again, as I told you, we are having the purified mind. Now, there has been put a question. You say the mind is matter and consciousness is Chaitanya. How the matter experiences the consciousness? Then in Gita Bhashya in 18th chapter, there it is given, the pure mind is not different from the consciousness. So it very easily experiences. Again you say, we are in relative plane and we want to get the absolute. In day-to-day life, we see most of the people, they see dreams. As soon as they get up from the dream, they say, it is not there, it is just a dream, it is an illusion. Because they have come out of the sleep state and they are now in waking state. In the waking state, why they are telling whatever they have seen in the dream is not real. This is everybody's experience. Now the logic goes like this. Jagrad avastha mithya drishyatva swapnavat. The waking state is unreal because you are the seer. As you are seeing the dream. In the dream you are the seer. Whatever you have seen, whatever you have created, it is not there. In the same way, the waking state also becomes the drashta, becomes the seer. Then whatever you are seeing is unreal. It is a prolonged dream, you can say, the waking state. For this, you should have good mental strength. Because that you get only on meditating on the self. See, that's why everything is within you. You need not go here and there. Only you have to experience. That's why the pure mind or the purified mind is not different from that consciousness. That what the answer was given. And now we go further. Tat yatha vyakhyatam brahma yo veda vijanati nihitam stitam guhayam. So far we have explained about the Brahman. And in the explained way, those who experiences in their own heart, they get the highest. Then guhate samvaranarthasya niguda asyam jnana jneye jnatru padartha iti guha buddhihi. He says these things are hidden. What? The knowledge, the process of knowing, and which you want to know. These things are hidden. Where? In your intellect. That is called guha. So where you have to experience that Brahman, that he says in your own intellect or mind, whatever you call. घोड़ावस्याम भोगापवर्गौ पुरुषार्थौ इति वा तस्याम परमे प्रकृष्टे व्योमन व्योमनि आकाशे अव्याकृताखे. घोड़ौ अस्याम, in that particular intellect, they are hidden. What? He says, the bhoga, enjoyments, and apavarga, and the realization. Apavarga means realization. The highest experience. Moksha I may call. Purusharthau. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Kama is bhoga and abhoga is realization. To be within yourself. These two are hidden in that space which is within you. And that space is unmanifested, he says. Avyakrit akhe. Unmanifested. What is the space which is manifested and unmanifested? Manifested, which we are seeing outside, it is the cause for the sound, to transfer the sound, and it is giving the space for everybody. That's why this outside space we call as manifested space. But that is which is within is unmanifested. And in reality, they are not two things. They are one. And whatever is there within you, that is outside. Now, consciousness is there within you, and consciousness is there outside. When we say the consciousness is there, in the intellect, in the mind, and in the heart, then whatever the body which is in between the outside consciousness and inside consciousness, it is also full of consciousness. And that we have to say we have superimposed this gross body, subtle body, mind, etc. That's why when you go to deep sleep, you are not aware of this body, mind and senses. If you are aware of these things, you don't get sleep. See, suppose a man is sleeping well, give some anesthesia and put him in the ocean, he will not realize. He will not get up. Even in a man, now see, because we are talking something about dream, I remember a story. Now when we say Ishvara sarvabhutana mridde sejyan tishtati brahman sarvabhutani, the Lord is within you and He is ruling. Don't think that He is ruling only your waking state. Even He is ruling your dream state. See, for this, I want to tell you a story. There was a demon by name Banasura, having 1,000 hands. And once he prayed, Lord, you see, I am having so much of strength. I want to fight with somebody who is equal to me. He did so many austerities, and what he has asked God, this one. I want to fight with my equal. All right. Now, this Banasura is having a very beautiful God. Not that. That is called Usha. Her name is Usha. So now, these all gods, they were having a meeting. And they say, the goddess Parvati, you have to do something. What I have to do? you just show the grandson of Krishna to Usha in her dream. What gods have the meeting and what they have decided? The goddess Parvati has to show the grandson of Lord Krishna. She has to show Aniruddha to Usha. This much you do. That means why I am telling, even the dream state is ruled by the Ishvara. That's why in some of the dreams we feel so much elated, we see the light, we see that as if we are worshipping, we are with God, we are moving with, we feel so much joy. That is due to our austerities. All right. So Parvati did her work. Now the daughter of our Banasura has become mad after him. He is so beautiful, this Aniruddha, because he is the grandson of Lord Krishna. Huh? And she was mad after. Now what to do? She is having an assistant and she started drawing all the pictures of handsome boys. This is not. When he comes to this particular and yes, he is the person. Now you see, the daughter of Banasura is a demon's daughter. They are having some supernatural powers. So her assistant's name is called Chitralekha. She goes there, and when that boy Aniruddha was sleeping, grandson of Krishna, just he brings with cart in the sky and hands over to Usha. They both are fell in love. And now this what Banasura did, that not even a single man should enter in the palace of Usha. That's why it's covered. But all of a sudden, the servants, they heard that some boy is speaking and they are laughing. And then actually there they find that grandson Aniruddha is missing, and they came to know he is here and the fighting is there, and that is another thing. Why I told this thing is, you see, even the dream state is controlled by the Almighty. Because you are carrying some impressions due to your past acts. So in the dreams you feel, you experience the fruits and results of those actions. And where it is that everything is, he says, in your intellect. And that is, he says, unmanifested space. Tadhi paramam vyoma, which is the highest space, supreme space, he says, etasminnu khalvakshare gargi akashaha. In that unmanifested space is this particular space is pervaded. Or he says, in this space, that indestructible Akshara, which cannot be destroyed, that is in this particular space pervaded. Now, you know, King Janaka, has called all the scholars from all over the states, and in those days the barter system or whatever, only the money exchange is only through cows. So he has kept 1,000 cows ready, and on each horn of the cow, some say 100 grams of gold was tied. And he says, who can explain thoroughly that Brahman? Everybody knows about Brahman. But who can explain exactly, nicely, can take away these causes? Now he has called the scholars from all over the world, or you can say from all over the states. Now nobody is daring to take away the cause, because the moment you start taking, the others will ask you some questions, you have to answer them. If you fail, you are failed, you cannot take them back. But, as I told you previously, this Yajnavalkya, who had his knowledge from sun god, just told his disciple, Sama Shava, take away. Then others started shouting, you are the man of the highest knowledge. He said, I see, I am just bowed down to the realized persons. I am not the highest among the realized persons. I am running a, say, student home. That's why the students are to be given some milk. That's why I am taking away the cows. But I bow down to the realized persons. I am not there. But the thing is, you see, if you want to ask some questions, you can ask. So in that series, this Gargi asks once and she sat. And he has answered all the questions of all the scholars, whatever the questions they have put. And finally again Gargi raises. And because she is asking second time, she has to take the permission of the opponent as well as all the scholars. So first he takes the permission of each and everybody. Then he asks Yajnavalkya, I am putting two questions to you. If you are able to answer these two questions, nobody can win over you. All right, you ask. So in that particular contest, this comes. Says, where this space is pervaded. Now, what are these things? Where are they? They are in the space. So the space is pervaded by what? Where is the space? Then you see, now the space has come from the consciousness. So through consciousness, the space is pervaded. But because as I told you previously, yato vacho divartante aprapya manasa saha, you cannot describe that consciousness in words. Now Gargi is asking about that consciousness. Suppose if he is not answered the question, he will lose the game. If he answers the question, he is going against the Shastras. So in that particular juncture, Gargi brings it, Yajnavalkya. Now what to do? If he answers, it is against Shastras. If he is not answering, he is losing the game. Then he says, you see, the realized persons say, I am not telling. If I say, I'll be losing the game. If I don't answer, then only I also will be losing. That's why the realized person say there is no sound, asabdam, asparsham, arupam, avyayam. All these things he say. And finally he says, in that particular akshara, this is not this indestructible consciousness, this space is pervading. So this context goes there. Now, what he told, that everything is in your own intellect, and that is the space within you, that in that supreme consciousness is staying or is there. Etasmin nukalakshare gargi akasha. So in this space you are having that highest consciousness which cannot be destroyed under any circumstances with anything. That is within you. First he told, is it not? Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam, one who knows in his soul. And some of the people are having some peculiar idea that intelligence and the mind is there in the head. It is not a correct idea. Why? Because you see, Lord Shiva cut off the head of Ganesha and gave the head of an elephant. Has he lost his intelligence? Because it is in the heart. And the founder of the Ishavasya, the knowledge found by Dadhyanga Adharvana Rishi. The sage name is called Dadhyanga Adharvana. Or in short to call it is Dadhichi. First he has experienced this knowledge of the Ishavasya. Lord Indra comes once and asks him, you try to explain me this knowledge, this knowledge of Brahman. When he started, Indra got very angry. Because you see, the Dadhichi says, the enjoyment which you are having with Indrani, your wife, it is nothing. Like that it starts. It is only a point, as I told you, 0.001% of that highest consciousness and highest bliss. Like that he started. Indra got angry and he told, stop it. Again, if you teach this to anybody, I will cut off I will chop off your head. All right. Indra went away. Then the two celestial doctors, we can say Vaidyas, Aswini Kumar, they both came to the Dadhichi and they again requested, you tell us about Brahman. Our story comes in Brodharnika. And then Dadhichi says, you say, I am having a curse like this, what shall I do? You don't worry. We will cut off your head and we will give a horse head to you. So, with the horse head, you will be going on teaching. And Indra comes and cut off your horse head. Then again we will replace your head. See. Dadhichi agreed. He started teaching with the horse head, and Indra came and chopped off the horse head, and again. Even you see, the knowledge of this particular Brahman is so supreme and so essential, even the teacher is ready to cut off his head and teach. So the knowledge is so superior, so this thing. That's why here that knowledge is within you, guha, intellect. That is more important. इति अक्षर सन्निकर्षात् गुहायां व्योम्नि इति वा सामानाधिकरण्यात् अव्याकृत आकाशमेव गुहा. You say the guha is a cave where intelligence is there, and then this guha and the space, they are in the same case ending. That's why he says here we have to take unmanifested space. Why we should take unmanifested, why not manifested? Again, if you may put question, you see, when you realize the things that which are in the relative plane in this transitory world, you may see that everything has consciousness. Even the space and other things. But you are having only a mental knowledge. By that you will be having only paroksha jnana, not aparoksha jnana, not the highest experience. Because you are knowing all the things in the mental state. So you have to go beyond. That's why we should take this as unmanifested space. For that he says it is unmanifested. All things are hidden in that also. During, he says, the creation, existence and dissolution, all the things are hidden in that particular space. Tasmin antarnihitam Brahma. In that, your goal, supreme goal, Brahman is there. They are not true things. This you are Atman, the consciousness which is within you, and that Creator who has created all these things. Both are one. You are His own, you are. Or you are one with Him. I think somewhere I heard, I am that I am. I think in Ten Commandments Moses says, finally, Bible, that he goes to the mountain, sees the fire and all this, at that time he says. So, here they said the word that, same thing. Is it done? You are already that. So, Ham Brahmasmi. Tattvamasi is, you are aspiring something. I am that. But you are already that. Ham Brahmasmi. When everything is within you, only the thing is, because of this ignorance, which is having a cover, and that we have to remove the cover. You need not bring something else from somewhere. You need not bring something from somewhere. Praptasya prapti, you are already possessing that. That's what Shastra says. That's why you have to experience, that is called, experience is called aparoksha jnana. Hardamevatu param vyoma iti nyayam vijnanangatvena upasanangatvena vyomno vivakshitatvat. The space in the heart, you have to accept it in the cavity of the heart. What for? Because you will be meditating there. as a part of meditation for that highest knowledge. Upasanangam. Upasanangam. Where you meditate. You are not meditating on something which is outside. Nor you are meditating in your head. Where you have to meditate? Hridi ayam. It is in the heart, he says. Say there, here that photo is not there. In just now, what is that? We heard the lecture. What is that hall called? Satsang hall. There you see the photo of Hanuman. Where he has shown his deity, Mr. Deva. So that is called Hridi Ayam Iti. Hridayam. Where it is in your own. There first he says it is space. But the space is unmanifested space. There your Atman is there your Brahman is there. That what he stresses here. That's why where you have to meditate in your own heart. And most of the people you see, they start meditating on the forehead. And if the meditation is not proper, the head is heated up. And they think so many other things. And they will not be able to meditate properly for a long time. That's why all the great saints, they say, you always meditate in the heart. Vyomni. Yo vai sa bahidha purushad akasha, yo vai sonta purusha akasha, yo yam antardya akasha. The space that is which is outside and the space which is within you, there, so anta purusha. In that space, that Purusha is there. Purusha means Purnat Purusha, who is all pervading. He is there. Now you see, when a potter makes a pot, only an adjunct is formed, the pot, upadhi. That does not mean it is separating the space of outside and inside. Space is not part, part is not space. And the space within the part is same as the space outside the part. Here also, the same consciousness is there within you, which is all pervading. Only this is an adjunct, this body. That's why we have to dissolve it. Tasya prana iheva pradiyante. The subtle body has to be dissolved. You may protect or you may try thousands of ways. You cannot protect this gross body. And until and unless you realize your subtle body is not destroyed. See, that's why you have to dissolve this subtle body. How? Just keep away from all the desires. Give up all the desires. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan parthamanogatan. If you want to experience the highest happiness, you have to give. Then you see, after realizing, things will automatically come to you, whatever you want. Just if you have a desire, sankalpa, automatically everything comes. So first you have to climb the steps. Not this, not this, not this, not this. Then once you reach, when you realize, then you can come down. This. At that time you need not struggle, you need not work hard to get anything. Things will come to you, they will flow to you. See, because you have realized your own self. He says the same space is there within. Purnat Purushaha. It is Purnat Purushaha. It is all pervading. Now the Shanti mantra goes Purnamadaha Purnamidam. That is full whole, and this is also full whole. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. The whole is created by the whole. And if you remove 1 minus 1 is 0. But he says, no, Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avasishyate. Even if you remove everything. That's why we go to Vedanta. Now there is a rope. On that you have superimposed a snake. Is it that? How long the rope is, such a long snake you are seeing. And actually it is superimposed, it is not there. So you remove this snake, rope is there. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avasishyate. In the same way, the superimposed word which is within our mind has to be removed, has to be rejected. That happens only when you are removing all the impressions of the mind. And the mind, you can say, is having two divisions. Conscious mind and subconscious mind. In the subconscious mind, we have been carrying the past impressions of our past lives. Minimum 6 lives impressions are there. That's what Purana says. Those impressions are to be removed to cleanse your mind. How you will do it? By constantly pouring one particular thought in your conscious state, that is simply thinking, remembering of your own self, it goes slowly and removes all the impressions. That is called practice, sadhana. What practice you are doing? You are not remembering somebody else. You are not serving others. Rather, by doing all the actions in a selfless motive, you are serving your own self. You are doing whatever you are doing, that is for your own self. Your mind is cleansed by serving others in a selfless motive. You are cleansing your mind. So, you have to help yourself. Uddhared Atmanatma. Nobody will help you in this particular spiritual path. Then all the masters, they just show the way. But they cannot take you by hand till you reach the goal. They will show the way. Lord Krishna was there with Pandavas all through the life. But there was never end for their sorrows and difficulties. So in the same way, the masters just they show the way how to reach. But without their help also, without their help we cannot understand. We may be misguided by our own mind or some other thoughts. That's why tasmin harde vyomni ya buddhir guha tasyam nihitam brahma. In that space, that intellect, the Brahman is there. Tadvritya viviktaya upalabhyate iti. Now, how you get it? That he says, Brahman is perceived clearly through the activity of the intellect, he says. Activity of the intellect. If the intellect is very active, then it goes outside. But the intellect should be introvert. You should discriminate and meditate on that self through this intellect. Then it becomes one with it. And again he says, you see, nahi anyata vishishta desha kala sambandho asti brahmana. The Brahman is not attached to any particular space and it is not in a particular time. It is beyond time. And it is everywhere. So it is not attached to a particular space. It is all pervasive, devoid of all distinctions. That is, nirvisheshatva, there is no attribute in it. It is devoid of all distinctions. It is, that's a.
I'm not sure I understood. You said that when the activity of the intellect is less, then the man is experienced more.
It has to be completely cooled down. It has to be completely. Intellect should not have any activity. No impression in that part. You should think only of the consciousness or Brahman or your deity. Dadami buddhiyogam tam yena mam upayanti te. See, dadami buddhiyogam tam yena mam upayanti te. Lord Krishna says, if you experience the Lord with form, then I will take you by hand for the experience of the Lord without form. Previously, I think I might have told you, there was a devotee by name Namdeva, and Lord Krishna used to drink daily milk from him, whatever is offered. And once there was a large gathering of all the devotees, and who is a good devotee, who is a supreme devotee, who is the highest spiritually evolved soul, they wanted to test. And in that particular test, Namdev failed. Kumbha, Gora Kumbha. The one by name Gora Kumbhar was there, he started beating the heads of all this non-stick potter with that instrument which he uses for the pot making. With that he started beating on the head of each and everybody. And all the other devotees were keeping quiet. This is Ramadeva told, what is this you are doing? Oh, this fellow is an unripe devotee, declared in such a big gathering. And when they say he is an unripe devotee, he felt very bad. So he goes to the Lord Krishna, evening again he offers the milk and says, what is this? Yes, what they told, it is correct. Because you have realized only Lord with form. You have not realized the Lord without form. You have not become one with it. That's why Lord Krishna has sent him to Kashi, Varanasi. There one master is there by name Vishobha Kecha. Vigataha Sokaha Yasmat Vishoka Vishobha. There is no sorrow in him. Full of bliss and joy. Kecha. And is completely stark naked. Old Swami. K means sky. That is Chara means that is the goals. Chara. That means naked. Alright, Namdeva goes there. And what he sees, he saw the Swami in the room, this old man. And he is sleeping. And he kept both the legs on Lord Shiva. And this first started shocked. He's coming back. Then he calls, "Hey Namdev, why you have come? Why you are going? I want to have the teaching, instructions from you. And I feel very bad when you put both the legs on the Lord Shiva's. Oh, this is your doubt. Don't worry, see. I am old man, I am not able to move. So you just move my legs to some other place where Lord is not there. So he is putting the legs, removing. Wherever he puts his legs, there one Shiva is supporting. That means the Supreme Lord and the individual self are not different. So he has moved all through the room. So many Shivas have appeared wherever he has put. To show the non-differentiation. So that's why here you see only the thing is, when you realize that Supreme Consciousness which is within you, and without having any name and form, then only, as I told you previously, your subtle body has to be dissolved. How to dissolve? Just by removing the desires in the mind. That means to remove, all of a sudden you cannot say, I have removed all my desires. Mind is within you. So what you want to do? That's why Sri Ramakrishna puts it very simply. The more you go towards east, west will be off. The more and more you think of the self and God and Almighty, these things are dropped off by themselves. If fruit, you see, ripens from within and it falls down from the tree. Is it not? So, you have to ripen your mind from within. That is, when once your mind is cleansed, that means you are not having any desire, not even a single impression, just it is thinking of only the Brahman or the Atman or self, whatever you may call. That is called Brahmakara Vritti. Mind is there, and there is only one single impression dominating in your mind. If it stays for some time, that also is dissolves. And mind dissolves in the Atman, you are everything else. That is the state of realization. So all through the life, as an aspirant, what you have to do? Just be going on, removing the impression. That also just by remembering your own self. The more and more you meditate on your own self, or Brahman, or Atman, or conscious, whatever you may call, whichever you feel better, all the things you see which is the old impressions which are in subconscious mind are removed. They slowly go away. Because you are putting something else, that's what they are doing. Now, while meditating, there are so many obstacles. If you eat sumptuously, full stomach, and if you start meditating, you will get good sleep. Our Swami used to say, how many fish you have caught? How many fish you have caught? One dose means one fish. So that is called laya. But stomach should be empty when you start meditating. Then only you can sit. And then oscillation of the mind. All right, by continuous practice, abhyasana konte, vairagyana grihite, some of the oscillations also have come down. Then, see, some of the impressions which are so deep in your subconscious mind, say body consciousness, anger, ego, and kamana vasana, desire to enjoy some of the things. They are so deep, they have been coming since ages and births. So it will take some time to remove this egoism or this body consciousness or these things. So at that time, because they are within you, they sprout because of your practices, and they will try to push you to some side, the other side. At that time you should be very careful. At that time you should take the help of Vedanta. As I am not the mind, I am the seed of the mind, I am Atman. These things are all going on, all this drama is going on in the mind. I am not the mind, I am the Atman. Let it do whatever, havoc, let it create. It is a demon. Let it dance. Let me see the dance. You be the witness. Don't go behind the mind. The moment you start going with the mind, you are nowhere. So don't cooperate during your meditations with the mind. Because most of the aspirants in the beginning, they go with the mind. Why? Because they are not having the background of Vedanta. Vedanta is not a special subject, it is about your own self. Just separate the mind and consciousness. I am the consciousness, I am not the mind. Then as yesterday I was telling, some clues you get. So don't stop there. You may hear the sound of a conch shell, or some light, or some deities you may see in your dream, or you will be having some peculiar powers. Don't stop there. That is Rasaswada, it is called in yoga. Just progressing up to 10% and forgetting 90%. Stable, stagnated there. So you should overcome that also. So what you are meditating, that you should be able to see in each and everywhere, all through the day and all through your dreams. Then only you decide that your mind is closed. Till that state, till you attain that state, never stop your practices. Otherwise, you will be in the halfway. Sarvagatattva nirvisheshatva. It is all pervading Brahman and it is not having any attributes. That's what it says. स एवं ब्रह्म विजानन किमित्याह. All right, you have experienced that Brahman. What you are going to get? That is the question. Asnute bhumte, he enjoys sarvan nirvasishtan kaman bhogan. Whatever he wants, that he gets. See, sitting in his own place. Just think, it will come. It will come to you. Devava yesterday, Paramanandi was telling, here we don't get sweets. So yesterday we had very good cake, sweets have come. That is a different thing. You told that sweets are. It has come. See. In that way, any type of desire, mostly you have given up of all desires and simply you are enjoying your prarabdha, that the actions which have been already started. But by chance, if you encourage a desire, it is fulfilled. So astute, he gets sarvan. Even in his past life, whomever he wanted to see, with whose company he has enjoyed, it may be wife, it may be father, it may be son, they also will come. Kim asmadadivat putra swargadi paryayena. In turns he says, is he going to enjoy just like us, first son, then heaven, then something else, something else? He says no. Yugapad eka kshana uparudhaneva, within one moment, 1 second. Because he has realized he has become one with the Almighty. And he enjoys all the joys, all the happiness, all the bliss which the Brahman is having. That's why ekaya upalabdhya savitra prakashvat, just like the light of the sun. See, savitra prakashvat, or lightening. Now it is quite dark, and then clouds are there, rain is there. But if lightning is there, one lighting, within 1 second you can see whole thing. Like that he has become one with the all-pervading. So that highest bliss he will be having, he says. Everybody in the world wants highest happiness. They don't want any sorrow, they don't want any difficulties, they don't want any pain, they don't want any stress. So this is the easiest way, you get everything. Your health also is protected, mind is protected, and you get everything. Brahmas, and you try 1,000 ways in the world, you will not get. This is highest happiness. Only there is only this way, no other way. Yam avochama satyam jnanam anantamiti. So, about that only we told, it is truth, it is full of knowledge, and it is undivided, all-pervading. So he becomes one with it, one with that supreme consciousness, all-pervading consciousness. Brahma bhuto vidwan brahma swarupene sarvan kaman sahasrati. He has become one with Brahman and he enjoys. But you see, here there is a very good point you have to note, you have become one with the Brahman. You have enjoyed your Jivan Mukta during when you are living there, you are Jivan, you have realized. That does not mean you can create the sun and God and other things. This particular power of creation and destruction and sustaining is only Brahman. You can become one with him, no separation. So, in the Jivan Mukta state, though you have experienced the Brahman in your meditations, after coming from that, you cannot start creating everything. That power is only with the Supreme Lord. Only this much difference is there. Even after realization, you may get some powers, but that does not mean you can create sun and moon. And in your deep meditation, when you become one with that, there is no desire at all, no mind at all. Brahma Bhuto na yatha upadhikritena swarupeena atmana jalasuryaadikat pratibimba bhutena samsarino samsarikena dharma nimitta peksha. You see, in the world, as the reflection of the sun, pratibimba, reflection, and is a worldly man, for him the merit and demerit works a lot. But this person, there is no merit, there is no demerit. No dharma, no dharma. No good, no sin, nothing. That's why Shikshuradi Karanapekshansya Kaman Paryayana Snute. And at the same time, depends on causes such as merit or on sensory organs. Just a simple desire, sankalpa in his mind, is everything for him. He need not possess even a body. When in that supreme state. Those who go to Brahmaloka, most of them, they may be having body, they may not be having body. If they encourage a desire, it is fulfilled, even without his senses. That's why here, unlike the worldly persons, there is no need of a, say, body or merit or dharma, dharma, punya, papa, good and sin, nothing is necessary. Because he has become one with the Brahman who is omniscient, who is eternal, all-pervasive. So this is the meaning. Vipasit, the realized person, he becomes one with Brahman. He is omniscient, identified with that all-pervading Brahman. Sarva eva valyatho brahmavidapnoti paramiti brahmana vakyena surtitaha. Now the Vedas are divided into 4 portions. See, that is mantra, samhita and brahmana. The first portion they simply give some stanzas, some mantras. And in the brahmana portion they explain what to do with particular stanza. Ishyatva jetva. This is mantra portion. Ishyatva jetva the custom chinatti is breaking the firewood for Havan, that is brahmana portion. So in the brahmana we have explained Brahmavidapnoti param. The man that who realizes his own self as all-pervading consciousness gets everything. So far we have explained this much. Now through mantra to samhita, to mantra also again we are going to expatiate this thing. So this whole thing is now so far it is told in a nutshell. That what he says. Brahmana Vakyana Sudha Satya Sruti Torda Sankshepato Mantrena Vyakhyaataha. This Samhita portion has explained so far. Now through Brahmana Vakya, we are the second portion. We are going to expand it. Tasya Vistareణ Artha Nirnaya Kartavya iti Uttaraha Tad Vrittisthani. That is the commentary of this much. Brahmavidapnoti Param has been explained by the first portion. Samhita mantras. Now through Brahmana portion, we are going to give a commentary on this much. So, aphoristically he told Brahmavida apnoti param this much. The essence, the Upanishad.
This is Brahmana or Mantra?
Now so far he has explained Samhita mantra. Now through Brahmana he will be going to explain. The further explanation is through Brahmana.
Ram is mantra.
Mantra.
Now Brahmana.
Brahmana comes. पुनस्तस्य विस्तरेण निर्णयः कर्तव्यः इति उत्तरस्तदुत्तिस्थानीयः तत्र च सत्यं ज्ञानम् अनन्तं ब्रह्म इति उक्तं मन्त्रादौ तत् कथं सत्यं ज्ञानम् अनन्तं ब्रह्म. Now he says it is truth, it is full of knowledge and it is all pervading. This has been told by mantra, the first portion. Katham satyam jnanam anantam ityatah. How it is truth, it is knowledge, full of knowledge, and has been told how. Trividham hi anantyam. See, the absoluteness is of three types. He says, kalatah, deshatah, vasutascha. From space, from time, and from substance. This Brahman is not limited by any space, or from any time, or from any substance. He is pervading in all substances, in all the time, all through the time, even past, present and future is there, and even beyond that. Rather, he is the creator of the time. After creation only time has come into form. So he is beyond. Tad yatha desho anantata akasha. As space is all pervading, so also this Brahman is all pervading. You cannot limit in a particular place this space because it is all pervading. All the stars, the sun, moon and planets are in this space. It is all pervading like that. It is not limited, so the Brahman is also not limited by any particular place. And not by time also it is not limited. But if you say the space and the time are limited, Brahman is not limited. Why? Because these are the effects. They have been created and he is the cause. But he is beyond cause and effect. See, when he is Ishvara, when he takes the help of the Maya, he becomes the cause, Ishvara Sarvabhutana. When he gives up Maya, he is beyond cause and effect. That is yourself. There is no cause and there is no effect in your Atma. But for the Creator, he is the cause for the creation. He takes help of Maya. That's why one should go beyond ignorance, Maya. Maya and ignorance are not two different things, I told you. Naivam Brahmana Akashvat Kalatopi Antavatvam Akaryatvat is not the effect. That's why he is not limited by even the time. Only the effect is limited, and It is not an effect, it is beyond the cause and effect. That's why he is all-pervading, omniscient and omnipotent. By telling this time is over. Karanka. So the rest will do in the next, that is tomorrow. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankar Sanavunatu Namadhitamastu Mavidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayam Sutra Bhashya Kudau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bhedam Vyomavat Vyapta Deha. Evening, if we can, I cannot see this. There is a limitation. It is created. Ishvara created Atmana Akasa Sambhuta.
Ambika, stop the camera. You should stop it in a way that